from the front, doesn't he? Doesn't like to get bothered by anything behind, and, well, he's clear as makes no difference from the rest of the field. He's not going to be bothered at all, is he?
Yeah, we had Igor Fraga here at our lovely venue, hyping up Kawakami before the race up on stage, so maybe those words helping out a little bit, of course. Here are our drivers, you see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, all soaring away at the wheel. It's hard work, this, on the sim. You wouldn't think it is, but you can really work up a sweat trying to hustle these cars over the mountain here as they'll come down one at a time. A replay now. This is Kokubun and Nabatani. I think this was the overtake we saw earlier. It seemed a bit rough from the replay. Let's see it again. He was through there, but I think he overshot it, as you said. They went a bit wide. Kokubun tried to come back, and it's like they just about avoided contact there. Very nice, clean driving, but Nabatani sending him like a mile into that left-hander.
Yeah, fantastic overtake there from Nabatani to be able to hold that one going through that chicane. You can see, meanwhile, further back, as I said, Mosso and Nishima not making the progress that they would have wanted to. I wonder, and I'm not a strategist or, a racing driver by any stretch of the imagination compared to these drivers, but if you're looking at Mosso and Hashima, surely I'd have thought that the sensible money would be to get onto a quicker compounded tyre and go and make as much progress up through the field as you can, as we see Miyazono getting off the hard tyre at the end of lap 3.
Well, Miyazono, they're opting, as you say, just to box and get off that tyre. It's always been the way in these events that the hard tyre is kind of just lava. You don't want to be on it at all. But it's one of those things where you want to try and do that in a good spot in the race. So when you do go onto a faster compound tyre, we're about to see what Miyazono and Suzuki are going to bolt on a fresh set of Michelin tyres. Not quite sure what the compound's going to be just yet. Still waiting for them to make their way to that pit box. There is Miyazono. So what's he gone for? Soft tyres. Okay, that is an interesting strategy. So what he's done there is giving himself a massive amount of space. Look, there's no one in front of him now, and now he can just try and hot lap, because he knows if he's racing other cars, they get in the draft, he can't keep them behind him. So he's going to try and basically gain time this way.
That's going to worry too much about Suzuki as well, because Suzuki, though he's come out relatively close to him on circuit, he's on the medium compound tyre. Now let's have a look here at Kokubun versus Yamanaka up the mountain straight. This is for third position then, so side by side these two drivers going. Yamanaka just breezing past once again, and also Benelli getting overtaken there by the Audi of Sato, so that's up into fifth position as well. Now the field beginning to spread out a little bit. You can see the medium shot runners breaking away a little bit from the hard shot runners, aside from Kokubun, who's still got Sato all over his rear wing. Yeah,
good fight here for fourth place between Mazda and Audi. Interesting, the gap to the front of Kawakami. Oh, Sato much quicker on exit there, runs into the back of Kokubun. That's about as rude a hurry up as you can get there from the Audi driver, and now they're going to be drafting down the straight. That little bump I saw down there, I'm sure, looks like they're maybe using the old stock car tactics there, trying to gain a bit of time on the cars in front. Will Sato go for a move? They go to look in the mirror too. Benelli's there, so up the inside goes Sato, up into fourth place. Does he yet? Kokubun runs a little bit wide. Can Benelli take advantage of that? They're now just about side by side. I think the Kokubun comes out ahead, but that's what happens if the racing is so close. If you lose one position, you end up losing another one just because you're offline. The Kokubun there deciding, you know what, I've had enough of these hard tyres, I'm coming into the pit lane. But what I was going to say before all that started is the gap in the front stopped growing. And Nabatani there, who was sort of giving it all that in qualifying, is now on this medium compound tyre and matching Kawakami on lap time. Well, about 2-3 tenths slower a lap, but to be honest, that isn't so bad around here.
No, normally you'd expect the gap to be about 1.2 seconds or so between the different compounds of tyre. So interesting to see there for Kawakami versus Nabatani. We'll keep an eye on that. Kokubun's off the hard tyre. He goes on to the mediums then for his middle stint. Goto also coming into the box in the Chevy Corvette from the hards, likewise on to the mediums. Now Kokubun ahead there of Saya Suzuki. That's pretty important, but is he going to be able to retain that position as he comes up the mountain straight in towards Griffin's Bend, because this could upset Kokubun's race here. He wants to try and run in clear air. Down the straight we go. Suzuki's on the outside. He's got the slipstream and he's got the place really easily there, and that's not what Kokubun needed. The crucial thing when you're coming out of the pit lane, you're trying to get the undercut compared to some of the other drivers. You need clear air. You don't need to be battling with somebody that's out of position compared to you, and that is going to really put a spanner in the works for Kokubun and Mazda.
Yeah, this is all because of men about pitting at the right time. Here's Mosso and Hashima, our current first and third place in the standings at the moment. They're going side by side, just about keeping things there. Championship standings, that is, so 7th and 8th in the race at the moment. But a drag race all the way down Mountain Straight. So this is great to watch for these guys and great battling. But of course, if they are swapping positions like this every corner. This is going to cost him a little bit of time. Also does guard the inside though finally of Hashima. But yeah, very close these guys right now.
Yep, and then getting the better of the Ferrari driver. Here is Kawakami still continuing on. Having a look at the sector times. They're looking pretty okay still as it stands for now. He's just, as we said earlier on, driving a nice clean race. The gap up to nearly 6 seconds, and you can see there a look at the tyre wear as well. His front significantly more worn than the likes of Nabatani, Yamanaka and Sato on the medium tyres who haven't pitted.
You can hear the car from the corner. The tyres are screeching. And actually, he was slower through the last sector than both Nabatani and Yamanaka behind on the medium compound tyres. So I think he's already, as you say, Tom, he's really worn those fronts. We heard him actually just before going to this race with Sasha saying that he's a bit nervous about tyre wear in this car. And we're seeing that already. Look, it's struggling, that front end, really pushing on. So understeer, if you're unfamiliar, basically, think about it if you're about to hit a wall. If the front hits the wall first, it's understeer. If the rear hits the wall first, it's oversteer. And at the moment, the front is really pushing out. He can't get the car to turn as much as he wants it to. And those tyres are screeching in protest. And it's only going to get worse as the tyres get more worn.
Yeah, if you want a sort of more literal example of that, go to a supermarket, fill up your shopping trolley right at the front end and then try and turn it. That's understeer for you. Kawakami on board with him. The gap coming down to just under 5.5 seconds. So still a nice comfortable cushion for him. He's just got to drive as cleanly as he possibly can. Try to eke these soft tyres out for as long as is viable. He doesn't want to stay on it forever because obviously they're going to fall off the cliff at some point. That performance is going to go, and if he's on them, he's going to be a sitting duck later on in the race. He's got to time this tyre change to perfection. And Kawakami, you can see him there, nice and smooth on the steering. Just one solid movement going into the corners, not trying to soar away at the wheel. And just trying to keep that gap at a constant. So this is what we usually see in these GT World Series races. Is it starts off pretty exciting. We get different drivers on different strategies all sort of working themselves out. Then we get a little bit of a lull sort of in the middle stages. And then once it all works out with the strategy later on, you've got different drivers on different tyres who have pitted at different times. That's when the race will really begin to come alive. I don't think Kawakami's going to be boxing on this lap or indeed the next lap, but it's certainly going to be on his radar before too long.
Interestingly, Nabatani is kind of matching Kawakami for sectors now, so we'll keep an eye on that gap. Here is Suzuki in the BMW trying to come past Kokubun. Of course, both these guys have pitted already, and Kokubun's decision to pit early maybe not the best one for him as he gets overtaken in a straight line.
Yeah, that's a re-overtake as well. We saw an overtake there coming in maybe a couple of laps ago. Kokubun managed to get ahead of Suzuki, and then Suzuki's gotten ahead of him in turn again. So Kokubun there now 1.5 seconds behind Suzuki. Crucially, he's out of the slipstream range. As we've got Benelli for AMG, Sasaki for Genesis and Hashima for Ferrari, all in the pit lane then here on lap 6.
So second and third, both lapped quicker than first place on the last lap. So those medium tyres now are starting to come into their own. The soft tyres start to wear. So in comes Benelli going onto that soft compounder tyre now. Let's see what he can do on this stint. Comes out in traffic behind. I think that was Kokubun and Suzuki. So he's going to drive up to the back of these guys and have to get by on circuit. So not ideal for Benelli, but we'll see if he can make the best of it. So watch Kawakami come over the mountain for the 6th time. Those front tyres now really starting to get to the danger zone, especially down here. You do not want those front tyres. That front right tyre in particular, just knocking down there to 24%. And that for a corner like this, Forest Elbow coming through here, that front right tyre is pushing on. You're just trying not to put the car into the wall on the outside. That's going to get tougher and tougher. I won't be surprised if we see him pit very soon.
Yeah, I wondered if it would be actually the end of this lap, come to think of it. I said earlier on I didn't think it would be, but to be honest, the tyre wear has really gone down quite significantly for Tanashi Kawakami here, and I'm sure he's going to be thinking about that either this lap, if not the very next lap for the Japanese drivers. Are coming through into the chicane we go. Now, does Kawakami box at the end of this one? Just to remind you, Lexus second in the point standings, 2 points behind Porsche. Points awarded for the top 6 drivers. Kawakami decides to come in then into the pits. A bit of a late call there for him, but all is fair and okay. They practice these pit entries all day. And Kawakami then, where does he go now in terms of the strategy? Does he go to the hard tyre for this middle stint, or does he try to go on to the medium tyre and try to weather the storm a little bit? Either way, he's going to lose the lead here. Nabatani and Yamanaka, who are yet to pit in this race, continue on, and they will take over at the front of this one. And Kawakami in the box. We still wait for the decision on where he's going in terms of his tyre strategies. He comes in for a new set of Michelin tyres on his car. Goes to the medium tyre then for the middle stint. That seems quite sensible for him, so he's going to try and go for a long middle stint here in this race and then run the hard tyres at the very end of this one. The thing is, what this does now then effectively kind of locks in the strategy for the likes of Nabatani and Yamanaka, because they need to be on the soft tyre at the end, because their nearest competitor in theory is going to be on the slowest compound.
So interestingly, Miyazono, of course, who pitted earlier on for those soft tyres a bit earlier in the race, fastest man on the track at the moment, also has the fastest lap of anyone at 2:06. Very impressive in race trim with that fuel in the car. Is now 5 seconds behind Kawakami on the road and is on the faster tyre. For now, though, of course, the advantage that Subaru has being a little bit lighter than the other cars out there. It does go through the tyres a little bit slower than the other cars out there. So you might wonder, oh, it's not fair, this car's slow in a straight line, but it's fast in other parts of the circuit, which is what makes the Manufacturer Series so unique. So many different brands, different approaches to going fast, and they're all using, of course, our balanced performance system, have a very similar lap time. So it's always very, very cool to watch as we get an awesome onboard shot of Miyazono. I mean, surely, if you're unfamiliar, one of the Gran Turismo greats is Takuma Miyazono, and with Team Subaru as well, been a long-time Subaru driver, taking this manufacturer to the series win a couple of times in the past as well. I wouldn't want anyone else in this car. I think maybe Mick Gazelle. Come back, Mick, we miss you.
Don't forget about the QR code on your screen at the moment as well for more information about the drivers if you want to find out a little bit more about the men behind the wheel of the cars at the moment. I was trying to work out a way of putting that.
That would be a great Rick Roll opportunity. That would be an amazing opportunity.
Certainly would. So here is Miyazono then. Soft tyres for him. Of course, they're going to wear that a little bit quicker. Started this one, as you can see, on the hard compound, but he's running the softs in this middle stint of the race. He's in a nice bit of clear air at the moment. The gap between himself and Kawakami pretty stable as it stands for now, but Miyazono will be starting to eat into that before long.
Let's have a look at the lap times. Yeah, 2:01.3, 2:01.4, sorry, last time out. Of course, Kawakami with the box 2:03.7. So the gap has it's stabilised around 5 seconds between the two. So I think Kawakami is using